It's Dragon Ball time! Hello and welcome to another figure review. Today we're gonna have a look at the S.H.Figuarts Piccolo Daimao, Old Piccolo, King Piccolo. And the funny thing about this one is I've been clamoring for Piccolo version 2.0. You know, regular Piccolo from Dragon Ball Z? I really want one of those, but we got this one instead, but I'm not mad about it because he's arguably one of the most important villains, if not the most important villain of Dragon Ball. I mean, to get this guy down, a lot of people die, so it's a pretty big deal back then. But enough of that, let's have a look at the figure. I legit forgot how big this guy was. How big, you ask? He stands, well, the figure stands at about 19 centimeters to the top of his head, which means we're going up to 7.6, around that size. Overall look in detail of the figure, starting off with the very nice face sculpt. He has the evil grin, I love it. Rounded eyes, which is very important. Like, the eyes for most Dragon Ball characters were a lot more round and it became a lot more rectangular with Dragon Ball Z. Sharp ears all around and has tons of wrinkles. And really his eyebrows, even though he doesn't have eyebrows, but this just standing out. Now the only weird thing, I don't really know, the antennas are a separate piece. So you can make some headshots with that. The only thing about that, so you can rotate the antennas a little bit around. Whee! You don't really get much out of it. But I guess for battle poses, when he gets punched in the face, that's pretty cool. Is it just me, or do the antennas just have a slight color difference compared to the rest of the figure? That's the only thing I kind of noticed. Not a huge deal. Got the nice logo in the chest area. And about the chest, it's just me, or does it look a little bit plain? The upper part and the lower part, it doesn't completely line up, but eh. And then I looked up some pictures and he looks a little bit slim in the chest. Shouldn't he be a little bit wider? I mean, I remember just like pulling this out. Can I pull this out? I just want to try it out. If you would pull the ball joints over here, it should go a little bit more out to the side, I believe. Also, there's no shading. I forgot. Have I mentioned that or not? Because there's no shading. Yeah, it's not a Figuarts going up and down with shading. I guess it's a big surprise. Are they gonna do shading or not? And whenever they do, it's like, yay! And whenever they don't, it's kind of like, oh. That's how the figure, nicely molded. You have all the muscle work, you have all the lines that are going down, and the pink stuff, pink stuff, with the red armbands, wristbands. Nails are painted in like a lightish white gray tone. And we move down to the figure. I already have some scratches, which I'll explain to you when I get to the articulation. And you got the nice brown boots with some small lines in there, very accurate to the character. And another thing, is it just me or are his knees a little bit low? When I look at the leg and I look at the knee over there, shouldn't it be just a tiny bit more up? It's small, very small aesthetic things like that. So for your articulation, I already established you can rotate around the antennas. The head goes all the way around, moves forward. I want to try it without using the neck. Moves forward that much, moves to the back. So I can't really get it to tilt side to side, so I'm really weirded. No, we're not tilting. Then the neck articulation, really have to give this one a good tuck. They didn't really leave a lot of room in there, which, I mean, it looks good. But maybe it will scratch over time, so be careful with that. There you go. Give it a good tuck. Goes forward, goes to the back. Doesn't really leave a gap, so I'm okay with it. Then we have a nice butterfly joint in the shoulder. Can bring that one forward, back, and has rotation on it, and a nice squeaky noise, and a big hinge in the shoulder itself. Bicep swivel, goes all the way around. Double hinged elbow, has just a tiny bit of motion in this part. Can move that one up, and then the other part. I mean, he's big and muscly. Actually, I was showing you how far it goes forward. There you go. That's pretty good. For the fist, we have a ball hinge which moves up and down, kind of blocked, and rotates all the way around. Chest area, they made the upper torso. They made this part. Actually, just the logo is soft plastic. Everything else is hard plastic. So the logo does not get into the way of your articulation. Moves forward pretty nicely. Moves to the back. Would leave a little bit of a gap, but it's nicely covered up by the logo. Well done there. And for the lower torso part, it just rotates basically. The belt is soft plastic, sure, but it's still blocking it, so as a result, You're really just getting a tiny bit of wiggle motion. Also, upper torso, move side to side. And if you combine these two, I mean, it's still okay. I wouldn't get too upset about it. Which I do get a little bit upset about. Also, crotch piece, rotates around. Doesn't really have motion. What I do get a little bit angry about, well, not angry, upset, is the fact that, and here's a tip for you guys. Never have the leg all the way in when you're trying to rotate it up, because it will scratch on the crotch. Scratch on the crotch. I had to say that again because it's such a ridiculous phrase. But they move up very nicely, move out to the back and move out to the side without leaving any gaps. I love this leg joint, but they needed to make this a little bit softer or a little bit thinner. It looks good, but this happened when I tried it out the first time. You have a thigh swivel also over here. Can rotate that around. Then we have the low knees, double hinged, and the foot is on another ball hinge. Has a very good ankle rocker. Holy crap, goes side to side a lot. Forward, to the back, great motion in the foot, helps with stability. It's nicely hidden also. And finally, you got a toe hinge to round off your articulation. For your accessories, you got the tiny 1-star Dragon Ball. I just have that in my hand right now because this roll off, it will roll off this table and I will never find it again. Then we have the rice cooker for some Mafuba action. If you actually want to Mafuba your figure in there, go ahead and try it, but you might die. Spoilers. So this one's pretty cool. I like the talisman on there, has some weird China stuff on it. And even like a little energy thingy. AC plug or not IC, whatever. You know what I mean. Open and closes, also nice feature, nice attention to detail. You have the egg, the Piccolo egg, which is nice and shiny. Has some goop on it because he spits it out. Doesn't come with a base, but it does have a peg hole. And if you don't fancy that, you have this other piece of goop, which just kind of lands. So you can pose it and have him spit it out. Here's like the egg spitting face, or getting punched in the gut face. You can multitask with that. Also has like I think, yeah, the antennas are a little bit more sharp on that one, a little bit less rounded, I'd say. So that's pretty cool. And you can, since you can switch them out, I guess you can play around with that, and that's, I guess that's where the antenna feature comes in very nicely. It has the angry gritting teeth face and the maniacal something. Really angry faces. I love it. Big fan of it. Then you got two big blast hands, while one just went off. There it goes. Just sliding over the table, two big blast hands. Has some nice detail in it. Fingernails are painted. Then we got them booby grab hands. The return of the booby grab hands, because I feel like I haven't said that in a long time. Can I put the Dragon Ball in there? I'm just curious if that kind of sort of stays in there. Well, it rests in his hand, so I'm fine with that, but don't lose your Dragon Ball. And then the weirdest thing about it, you only got one pointy finger for the right hand and one chop hand for the right hand. Why not two chop hands? I don't know! And yeah, that's all the accessories. How dare you bring this rice cook up to me? Okay, I don't know what that was. But anyway, final thoughts of this figure. This figure is pretty darn good. I really don't have any huge complaints. I think at the price point and whatnot, the size is great. Has some small aesthetic problems, does lack shading, but as I mentioned before, S.H.Figuarts, sometimes they do shading, sometimes they don't. I'm kind of over it. Of course, it would have been nicer, but He does come with a lot of accessories, he does come with a lot of hats. Hands, could have used one or two more, but the general packaging is good. It's very good actually, and I don't really have any huge complaints with the figure. Articulation also works well, and it's always nice to have a big guy in the collection, and it's always nice to have another Piccolo. Now, Figuarts, Bandai, Tamashii Nations, whoever, now get to that Piccolo 2.0 we want. Please. Thank you. So, I really recommend this figure, because it's pretty good. And that's gonna do it, guys. As usual, thank you very much for watching. Don't forget, if you enjoyed this review, hit it up with a like and subscribe to the channel so you can stay tuned for more figure reviews, card game stuff, and whatever Piccolo Daimao wants.